Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Here we go.
Who you gonna call? There's what says. Who you gonna call?
We didn't even speak.
We didn't even do anything.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the DNVR show. That was so bad.
That was like a screech.
You can't just break that out for the first time.
What do you mean?
Give me a warning.
You got. What the hell was that? That could be my thing, you know?
Yeah, I guess that is your thing.
Is that my thing?
That's
you know?
your
We
thing.
get into it.
All right. What's going on, guys? Welcome in. Thursday edition of the show. We got a ton of mailbag questions to go over today. Maybe sharing some untold Nikola Jokic stories.
Maybe.
Adam was teasing a story that he's never told before on the show that I can't wait to hear about Nikola Jokic.
You know the story, though. It's just I've never shared it. But I think the statute of limitations is up.
I think so.
So I think I can share the story.
How old of a story is it?
I'm not going to say that. It might
Okay.
spoil it.
All right.
Might spoil it.
But we got a lot of fun stuff to get into. I'm Harrison Wind. That is Adam Morris.
Thank you so much. Great to be here on the panel
Yeah.
as a panelist.
Yeah, I'm
That's Brendan Vogt over there.
prepared not to get as much of a word in today, but I'm ready to go with the new lineup, the new rotation.
You don't think you'll get as much of a word in now? You
No.
think? Really?
Yeah, just looking at the analyst host breakdown, I'm just feeling like
All right.
it'll be like maybe a different breakdown.
Well,
today.
you do have the solo camera on you.
Oh,
That's
let's
true.
go.
Look at this.
What's up, Mares?
Let's get a
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell, Cal?
Welcome to
Come on,
Locked
you
On
really?
Nuggets.
Go close up again, though. I want to go to camera 3 here. No, to him.
That's
not me.
camera 2.
That's camera 2, yeah. Mustache,
Yeah,
huh?
I'm sorry about this.
Mustache. Everybody universally praised the scruff, and you were like, you know what? No.
Yeah, that actually is what happened. It was a little too much praise. I got uncomfortable, but it's layers. Like it's got to grow back in. The scruff is going to grow back in under the stash.
You should have seen yesterday upstairs. Vogt was asking Kale for tips on growing his mustache.
Oh, man, I'm so glad
Just
I missed that.
Tricks of the trade, best practices. There was just a nice
Learned a
dialogue
lot.
going on.
I learned a lot.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how it progresses, though. Like I said, we got a lot of mailbag questions to go over today, but we do have some news to hit on the top. I'm going to drop a little wind chime on you guys to start
my
things
God.
off. Pack your swimsuit. Pack your tank tops.
Okay, where are we going?
Pack your rainbows.
What's this for?
We're going to San Diego for Nuggets training camp again.
No, stop.
Oh, it's
Come
bad.
on, man.
Oh, right. That's right. We don't like that.
We don't like having
I
to go
forgot.
out of state for freaking training camp.
Nuggets training camp is in San Diego at San Diego State October 3rd. They keep alternating between San Diego universities, but we'll be there.
Can I tell you?
think.
I got another wind chime for you here.
What's that?
So I have heard a rumor that one Eastern Conference team with a disgruntled superstar begging to be out and another who might have won an MVP is doing their training camp in Colorado.
Wait, what?
Really?
It's coming to altitude to get the good training camp in and get altitude. Meanwhile, the team
So
at
the Denver
altitude is
Nuggets
Are
are
they
gonna-
doing
level.
it at Ball Arena?
I'm heard that it might be, somewhere more northernly. I don't know if this is news yet, but somewhere a little more northernly. They
Northernly.
might see some
Boulder?
Rams or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fort
It's
Collins?
I don't know. I don't know where they might be going. I just heard they're coming to Colorado.
You're
and
saying the 76ers are having training camp
I
in
didn't say
Fort
that.
Collins?
I did not say that. That's not at all what I
That's
said.
not what he said.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
But theoretically.
But theoretically, it is
anything could happen.
possible.
Yeah,
Anything could
yeah.
happen. Anyway, I did hear also. So now Denver leaving Mile High to go to sea level.
Yeah.
Very strange. Very
So
strange.
the Nuggets love San Diego. They've gone there the last several years for training camp.
Is there any chance that Michael Malone does this just as a middle finger to the Cronkies? Is there any chance that he's like, you know what? What's the most expensive location I could find?
I don't know. I don't think it's the main reason, but maybe it's a smaller reason.
It might be that he's just kind of like, yeah, I need to travel. I need you to pay for, 50 people to go to San Diego for a week.
I mean, We know how he felt about that leak in the roof last year.
Maybe they just love California, fellas, more than we care to admit.
No, you need the altitude though, man. Like
Right.
there's something too. Use your advantage. Get these guys in peak shape.
Yeah, I mean, look, one factor here, a big factor, probably the biggest factor is the Nuggets don't have a practice gym, practice facility that can hold the amount of people that are in the building for training camp. Because you've got 21 players,
Yeah.
you've got even more coaches than you usually do because you got most of the G League guys.
Yeah.
You got staff. You just got so many people. Nuggets practice gym has no chance in holding that. So you need an area with 2, 3, 4 courts. San Diego State
So what you
has
do is
that.
you go to a college.
So
in
you go to a
California.
college in San Diego.
Yeah.
The weather is good. It's sunny. It's a relaxing environment. That being said, training at altitude would be best case scenario.
Yeah, for sure it would. I hate this, man. I'm not surprised. We were waiting for it to drop, but
Yeah.
I hate it. Not that the team ever should consider the media, but
No. No, they should not.
They should not.
They should not. Absolutely
But nobody goes. There's usually like 1 or 2 beat reporters and us out there. That's it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of the appeal.
I bet that is another small part of the
Yeah,
appeal.
I think there's probably to it. It's a
like-
very controlled environment.
Yeah, let's just bunker down just us.
Do you think this is why they didn't tell us? I mean, training camp is in like 3 weeks. Do you think they waited to the last minute to hope to be like,
I mean, I don't think they've told anybody. I just asked.
there you go.
I just asked. I was like, we're trying to book travel for training camp. Like, where is it?
Yeah. They're like, oh, it's next week and it's on Mars.
It's October 3rd it starts. I think we'll be out there for it.
Yeah, we'll be out there.
San
Diego, baby.
Some other news of the day, guys. I don't know
Wales.
if you've been tapped into what's going on in Los Angeles, just north of San Diego. Anthony Davis is switching positions.
No
Oh.
kidding.
He is switching positions.
Wow.
Point guard.
Last year,
I'll bet
he
shooting
was a
guard.
center.
Oh, it's not the bubble.
This
It's not even
next
shooting guard.
season, he's switching to power forward.
Wait, what?
Power forward.
Wait, he's switching to power.
He's
forward.
switching to it.
He was a center.
Last year he was a center. This
now
is true.
he wants to play power forward.
Okay. Why does he want to do that?
Well, part of me doesn't blame him. I mean, if I got roasted by Nikola Jokic so bad in the
a good
first
point.
3 quarters of Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, I might also think about switching positions so I didn't have to guard him anymore.
So the real Rui adjustment was making Rui a permanent center.
Yeah.
Is this?
What do you think Rui Hachimura is thinking, waking up reading this headline?
He's like, are you serious? That's my what?
It's like, bro, wait,
Jokes aside,
Christian Wood, you're center.
jokes aside, this is probably the best way to get the most out of AD, even in a matchup against Jokic. You know, Dwight Howard resurfaced with some cool quotes today. I don't know if you guys saw those about how he was stopping Jokic back in 2020.
Who said this?
Dwight Howard.
Oh yeah, he's got.
we should find those, Kel.
And it's, I'll see if I can. I might have just fake interneted everyone. So, not a journalist. And
He's like, I
anyway,
just heard from someone who
yeah,
was
it's
saying
a
this.
tweet on the internet. Anyway, so but obviously it was Dwight Howard at center and AD being a roamer and help side and not having to actually guard him. And of course, as we all know, Dwight was also allowed to foul the living shit out of him.
Yeah.
But AD at power forward makes sense as much as it's a fun thing to make fun of him about. He was the center in that series and it was futile. It was futile.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now they have Jackson Hayes, too.
That's right. And Christian Wood, fellas. And Christian Wood, lest we get to...
So here's the quote from Dwight Howard. I'm happy for Nikola Jokic, but in 2020, I was stopping this man, and I wasn't even in my prime. Imagine me in my prime. There would be no question.
Oh, that's so good. All right, next topic.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Dwight. But
job.
I only brought
Enjoy
that up
Taiwan
to
again,
remind
so
everyone
good
that,
luck.
you know, that was the dynamic in which they found success. It was never actually Anthony Davis guarding Jokic. So maybe there's something to this, but it's also fun to just get a little trolling in after the ring. You know what I mean?
What did you guys think of the Christian Wood signing?
It's a legitimate question. I look. There are types of bigs that I think you can bring in to allow Anthony Davis to really do the Rui adjustment where he's off ball and block shots. Jackson Hayes is not, in my opinion, one of those guys, nor is Christian Wood. So to
No.
me, they went big. I mean, Christian Wood can beat up on a bench unit, Maybe that's like the thought process when Jokic's not out there or whatever. But to me, I look at this and I go, you put one of Jokic's easiest guys in the league to score on your roster.
Right.
Yeah,
like-
in Christian Wood, yeah.
In Christian Wood. That's on a scale of 1 to 10 on how difficult of a matchup that is for Jokic when Jokic's on offense, it's a 1.
Yeah, it's about as easy as a matchup as there is.
If they would have added Ennis Freedom, I would have had the same reaction where I'm like,
Right.
oh, he might score on the bench, but that guy's not a defensive impact on Jokic.
And it's also scaling down points per game in roles. Like we know Wood has talent and can get buckets, for example, but who's he on the floor with, right? And does every possession that's oriented around getting Christian Wood some eaten, does that actually take away from what could have been a healthier possession with other guys on the floor? He is a talented player, but it's been a deeply unserious career to this point for him.
Yeah.
And so I don't view this as a matchup changer, particularly with Denver.
Also volatile. Like this is the thing is it's another guy that's sort of a me first type player who has in years past, including last year, felt he was too good for a lesser role. Well, now he's on a team that features more established names,
Right.
But also like he's sort of, and actually, you know whose best comp is on the team is D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell's sort of the guard version of Christian Wood, where
It's a great comp.
They actually just think they're like, oh man, they added a new all-star to the and you're like, what? No, you need to like score against the bench and rebound.
I agree.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think about it from a Jokic perspective because I just think there's 0% chance Christian Wood is playing in a playoff series.
Yeah,
There's no way he's a playoff 16-game player.
right.
So for the Lakers, this is innings eating regular season. Go out there and score 20 points while playing terrible defense against a bunch of bench units.
Yeah.
That's what this is to me. And then in the playoffs, it's hard for me to imagine him or D'Angelo Russell even playing.
But maybe you package these guys together and like you fool
Right,
some
that's
team. I
part
mean,
of
the
it.
And
D'Angelo
get a
Russell.
second-round pick.
D'Angelo Russell, when they signed the deal, I'm always just like, that's just like a tradable asset.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
To me personally, if I was a GM, I just would never trade for D'Angelo Russell. It's a player I never would want to go near.
Of course.
But D'Angelo Russell and Christian Wood, can some team talk themselves into that being pieces? Maybe.
Maybe.
Dallas for Kyrie. He was just in Dallas.
Yeah.
Luka's like, are you kidding me again?
We got a new video coming out of Ball Arena. I don't know if you guys have seen, a lot of Nuggets are in town. A lot of Nuggets players are here in the gym, especially the rookies. And this one featured Julian Strawther just absolutely stroking it.
This is, oh, really? This
Three.
is such a Harrison video right here. I think you got to make it big, no?
We can see it.
All right.
Look at that form.
It is, honestly, his shot is pure, though. Look, nothing but
Four
net.
in a row.
That's what he does.
5 in a row.
That's what he does.
5 in a row.
Just like that. But I think we've seen Strawther. Obviously, all the rookies are in town. Hunter Tyson's here. Jalen Pickett's here. I've seen Justin Holiday.
Oh, hold up. What is your strategy when you see when a new video drops? What's your strategy? Because I have a strategy, but I want to hear yours.
I try to look at who's in the video.
That's your first thing, right?
Yeah.
See, for me, I'll take the video in once, just like, all right, I'm going to watch the video, just absorb it, I'm not thinking, just absorb
Yeah.
it. And then the second time through, it's like, all right, who's here?
And then you're pausing it. Like,
Yeah.
who, is that Jalen
Yeah,
Pickett in the
like, who is
background?
that?
No, that's Justin Holiday.
And then
okay.
the third time you're breaking down the Christian Brown playmaking in the drill. The third time
Well, I
you're
mean,
really
that was
slowing
pretty
it down. It
obvious
was a
on
good
first
read.
watch of that
It's a good
one
read, yeah.
video.
Yeah, so those
But no,
things.
Christian Brown's here. I've seen P. Watt in videos.
Yeah, he's here.
Jamal's
been
obviously has
around a
been
lot.
here
Been
pretty
around
much
a
the
lot.
whole summer.
Have you guys thought at all about how, well, this is entirely you, but Pickett had a moment in the sun, and then Hunter Tyson obviously stole the Summer League show. Have you thought at all about how the highest draft pick kind of has had the least amount of buzz so far? I'm curious to see if and when he gets a moment here,
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting because if you had to just slot the 3 right now, I'd put Julian Strawther third in terms of most likely to make an impact.
What is your rank? It's tough because it's circumstantial.
To me,
all
it's
that.
Hunter Tyson 1,
Okay.
Jalen Pickett 2, Julian Strawther 3. And a lot of that just has to do with the Vlatko injury and Hunter Tyson's big summer league.
Right.
Those are the 2 biggest factors right now.
But I even think intrigue around these guys too, you'd probably slot it the same way. So it's just interesting
Probably,
to
yeah.
see if Strawther gets a moment and if that hype changes.
Strawther has a lot of intrigue. The thing Strawther does is shoot. And in the summer league, he just didn't make a ton of his shots. And I mean, he made a lot of his shots, but he missed a lot. And I just think that he's the type of guy that in a preseason game, he just needs to have a 4-for-4 game.
Right.
Where he plays 20 minutes and somehow goes 4-for-4 from three, which is he's perfectly capable of. And that's when the hype is. You know, Jalen Pickett, it's passing. Hunter Tyson, it was shooting, and he shot the. And what happened? We're high on Hunter Tyson, not because of his great cutting.
He shot 65% from three.
He rebounded well, and he had an attitude, and those things definitely help. But the truth is, he shot 65% from three, and we're like, this guy, I think he's a player.
Yeah, that's it.
What's your ranking of the three?
I think Pickett and Tyson, to me, both have a case for number one.
Yeah.
And again, most of this has to do with the circumstance of the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I think Michael Malone is going to like all three rookies.
But he's especially going to like Hunter Tyson.
Oh, I think Hunter Tyson and Pickett, just because what do you hate as a coach? Mistakes. And I just think both of those guys are pretty low mistake.
Yeah.
And in particular, team defense mistakes. I think they're both low team defense mistake guys, so I think he'll like them both.
What about you, Vogt?
I generally agree, but I'm such a sucker for shooting, man. I mean, the first time this kid goes 4 for 6 in any environment, I'm going to start putting some stock in that basket as well. So I just think it's interesting. It's kind of fun, right? Because this was the first guy the front office decided they definitely needed to get on the roster, and we're more excited about the latter two to this point.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a fun thing. Like, there's more in store, hopefully, for Strawther here.
Yeah. Let's hit a break. Got the mailbag on the other side, and we're going to get into some untold Nikola Jokic stories. What we've learned about Nikola Jokic since covering him. We're also going to talk about what former Nugget we would give a championship ring to.
Oh, I love
Can't
this
wait for
discussion,
that.
man.
A lot of other stuff coming up on the other side.
Keep it real with you guys. I just saw my legs on the monitor, and these are not legs to look directly at, not without at least a pair of sunglasses in between your eyes and this damaging shade of white. Whatever it is that you need to take on with gear built to last, do it with Shady Rays. They've got you covered for warm weather, bright legs, whatever is might just mess around with your eyes a little bit. You know what I mean? You don't need to pay $1 million to look like $1 million and feel like $1 million, especially with Shady Rays. Shop there with no risk, exchange for a new pair, or return them for free within 30 days. And also get this sweet discount because you're already listening to the pod. You might as well take advantage of the dope stuff we're throwing your way. 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. You just have to go to shadyrays.com and use code DNVR. You'll get half off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses.
Guys, at Bet365, they don't just do ordinary, okay? They believe that every sport should be epic. And what's more epic than week 1 in the NFL? I'm serious. Actually, I heard another statistic. I don't know if you guys heard this, that more gambling money has come in on the CU Nebraska game than every NFL game.
My bad.
More.
You guys see the spread?
It's out there. This weekend is great, though. You can bet Buffs. You can also bet Broncos, or you can bet the entire NFL slate, all at Bet365. Download the app, deposit $10, and claim your $365 in bonus bets as soon as you place a bet for $1. And I'm telling you, I still have my bonus bets from when I signed up. I'm not kidding. I
still got them.
I still got them. I may or may not have put a lot of that also on CU. We're all Buffs pilled over here, man. What can we do?
Not be, man?
Download the Bet365 app and use promo code DNVR365 when you sign up. That's promo code DNVR365 whenever you sign up. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, text 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, stay tuned for our never ordinary Bet365 top 5 coming up in a little bit. Coming up in a little bit.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's
here
a good one
on the DNBA show. Harrison Wynn, Adam Mares, Brendan Vogt. Look, guys, we've covered Nikola Jokic for 8 seasons. Going to be 9.
Yeah.
We've seen him grow up. We've seen him come of age. We've seen him develop from a second-round pick into a MVP and the best player in the NBA.
Okay.
But what have we learned about Nikola Jokic over these last 8 years?
What have we learned about him or from him?
Both.
Well, what's the question?
The question comes from our guy, Jordan Scott. And his question is, what have you learned from Nikola Jokic
I asked.
in your time following him over the years?
I'm going to go. I can go first on this one.
Please.
Because I do think that it's important in life to learn things across disciplines, right? So a silly little game of basketball, a goofy Serbian guy. There actually are things you can kind of take up, especially as great and successful as he is. The thing for me, and I've said this on this show before, Jokic is, as great as he is, he allows space for other people to shine. And it's arguably his best trait is that he is both the MVP, but also out of the way for others to be great. And I think about this as myself and a host of the show and obviously leader at DNVR and different things. You can swallow up as a leader other people's opportunity to where they don't have the space to sort of shine or this or that. And so it's something I have thought about. I'm not Jokic in that regard, but it's a thing that I think about and think, like, how can I be better at that skill?
It's a great answer. I was going to go that way as well.
Really?
I actually was. Maybe more along the note of just generally checking the ego out the door, even when it's warranted, having it. Just the value in it. Not because it's like more noble, because there's a practical value in it if you're pursuing a goal. But one thing he's taught me for sure is that I should have been 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
That's
you blew it.
Messed up on that
pretty tall on my list of failings. But I really do think it's the egoless approach to sport, because he enjoys it more that way. And I just think about that a lot. Just about that there's more to get out of it that way. It's really easy to get wrapped up in yourself, even as someone who claims to have a small or no ego. And so when you see a guy who's on that scale, has in a league where we've actually previously valued ego in that position, the face of an org, the best player, his ultimate rejection of it, or at least seeming rejection of it, is inspirational.
But to that point, I think we've learned that you can build a culture and you can be a leader who's building a culture without being super outspoken. You can just let what you're doing speak for itself. And over time, that builds something. You don't have to be out there shouting, yelling, directing people, demanding things to build the type of culture and type of workplace that you want to.
Right.
That can happen over time, even if you're reserved and just do it by example. And that's something I didn't know if I thought could happen in the NBA before him.
I'm also fascinated by how he breaks through barriers with discipline and consistency, whereas other people, NBA stars particularly in the past, it's felt a little or looked more like bursting through the brick wall. Jokic, it's almost like the more he wants something, with some exceptions like the Clippers and Pelicans games, you rarely see, it really looks like he's trying harder. There's just such a trust in the process of what he thinks is healthy basketball, and he just sticks with it and sticks with it.
Yeah, trusting the process for sure.
Where I always feel myself, the more I want something, I lean in on it in a way that's sometimes detrimental. It's always emotionally led, and it's really fast. People are different, so it's not, but it's fascinating to me the way that it doesn't really look like he tries harder. It's almost like he just trusts what he knows is the right way.
Well, I think another thing is oftentimes when you have a personality type like Jokic and a skill set, they're undisciplined. And I think his natural state is undisciplined. I mean, Eric always says Jokic is a fat kid at heart. But there's something to his story of when he came over, he had his last Coca-Cola on the flight over. There was just something about him at that moment that said, I'm not going to allow my nature to control who I am.
Yes.
I'm going to change it. And
maybe he just didn't know how to get Coca-Cola in the States.
it could be that.
Didn't know where to go.
No, but I just think it was one of those things where it's like he, over the process of the early processes of his career, he decided to become a disciplined person. And I think a lot of people think of themselves as, oh, I'm not that type. I'm a different type. And I think he's a guy that's like, I'm not that type, but I'm going to make myself that. Yeah. And the result is a guy who had the natural talent became the best player on the planet.
And discipline can be a learned thing. I actually think about that a lot. Like, I'm far from a type A person, but you can just resign yourself to not being a certain type of way.
Right.
But some of these things are learned behaviors, and that's actually a really interesting perspective on Jokic.
Yeah. What about anything that we've learned about Nikola Jokic?
This is the best comment I've ever seen, Vlada. I love that Adam is Jokic. I love that the Adam is Jokic narrative pops up every few weeks. It's very cat-like. So true.
I'm changing the
spot
game.
On, yeah. It's so spot on.
It is very spot on, for sure. Yeah, but
Who do you
but,
think Dwight
me,
Howard?
me and Jokic are changing our respective games.
hey, you know, maybe.
I've always told people the best part about working at DNVR is that if you go to the court to get some shots up, Adam will take the side hoop.
That's so true, man. It's
doesn't
so true.
fuck- he
I will
doesn't
have
give
to
a
do that.
shit.
You'll take like the the bad office.
Yeah. Hey, technically,
That
hey,
is true.
Actually, hey, come over here. Come over here, man. You forgot in our headlines though a piece of news that's maybe even better than the Anthony Davis one.
What's that?
That is that Andre Drummond. Did you see this? Claims
From a few days ago. Yeah.
claims that he is headed to the Hall of Fame.
He's the best rebounder in NBA history.
Did you hear this?
I did see that. Yeah,
He honestly thinks he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I don't.
Dude, this is why if you get rich and you become a professional athlete, if I was to get rich, the first thing I would do is hire just my best friend to hype me up every single day. Just tell me how great I am every
I
single
think that
day.
happens naturally.
Because that's obviously what every NBA athlete does.
Yeah, dude. First of all, would love to be that friend for anyone for sale. If you think you're great and you need to hear it, but I love. First of all, especially with the Basketball Hall of Fame, if you're the one making the argument about yourself, you're probably not getting it.
You're not that guy.
You know what I mean? Like people ask don't want to ask Carmelo Anthony, like, do you think you're a Hall of Famer?
Right.
He knows he's a Hall of Famer. Andre Drummond's making the case for Andre Drummond.
How do you think that happened? Do you think one of his boys was like, bro, you have a better rebounding percentage than Bill Russell?
Did you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
that? Did you? Well, Bill Russell, they didn't have the numbers back then. So that's
true.
part of it.
That's
They didn't
it.
have
He's like, Bill Russell's not even on this list.
Did you see the list though? Have you heard or seen the list?
I don't
Number
remember
one,
it.
Andre Drummond. Number two, Hassan Whiteside.
I mean, he's maybe in the Hall of Fame conversation if Andre Drummond's in.
you guys know Basketball Reference has the probability thing?
Yeah.
Stuff.
What is his probability?
I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
1.9%.
He actually, so that's higher than I
It
expected.
is
to be honest.
non-zero. It is non-zero.
1.9% is way higher
You
than I
know what?
expected.
Yeah.
You know what? I changed my mind. If you're not going to make the case for yourself, who will? Let's go, Andre.
Oh man. But back to Nikola Jokic. Maybe what have we learned about him from covering him these last 8 years?
Learned about him?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we know him pretty well.
Well, I know
I mean-
you have an untold story that you were.
Is this
teasing.
the untold stories part?
Yeah,
or whatever.
we're here.
This is a weird way to set that up, isn't it? Isn't it?
I'm not going to comment on a rundown I didn't make. I think Wind, you're doing a great job.
The untold Jokic story, and again, this has been hinted at on the show, but I don't think it's ever been told. I've heard it from multiple sources that the story of Jokic, when we all know it's in the documentary, but it's also been told other places. Barcelona comes to sign him. Nuggets already draft him. Barcelona comes to sign him, and the night where they shake hands, everything's good. Jokic has his worst game of his career, plays absolutely atrocious. Barcelona gets cold feet. They go back, and the Nuggets come in and swoop him away. Well, what if there was more to that story? I have heard from, again, multiple people that I think would know this, that he didn't have a bad game. He didn't have a bad game at all. He threw the game. He threw the game because his future wife, then girlfriend, Natalia, had come to the States to go to college, and they were going to be separated. And if he ended up going to Barcelona, they were going to be on different continents for an entire year. And he really didn't want that to happen. So, plays terrible. Barcelona goes, what the heck is wrong with this guy? Forget it. He, having never made that kind of money in his life, he was punting on millions of dollars that would have like made him as a person. Punts on it. He's like, nah, I'd rather wait out and see if the Nuggets take me. They sure enough do. Him and Natalia reunited.
This is why when we ask questions like, do you think you didn't shoot on purpose? Yes.
Yes.
Fucking yes, I do.
Well, do you wanna-
Absolutely.
So taking this story and knowing that he was willing to like risk his livelihood for this opportunity to be
Yeah.
with Natalia.
Yeah.
My hottest take, what was his worst playoff game we've ever watched in his career?
Game 3 of the round 1.
Game 3 of Utah
Yep.
series in the bubble. What happened in game 4? Do you remember?
They switched. Did they take Michael Porter
He
Jr.
took
out
Michael
of-
Porter out. My thing is
This
he
hurts,
played
but you're
so
right.
bad. He played so bad that game, and there's a big part of me that thinks he was like, we
right.
gotta get Porter out of the lineup.
I'll take
I'm
you
gonna
back
lose.
I'll take you back to Memphis. We're all a little frustrated with Torrey Craig in the starting
Played
lineup.
like absolute
He
shit.
took one shot. It was the last shot of the game.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I
yes.
just think that Utah game might have had a little message sending,
this is
and they
great.
go down 3-1, and then he's like, "All right, cool, we made the adjustment. Now we'll win."
Now let's start playing.
Just saying.
I've got
I'm saying
one.
the game winner on Rudy Gobert in the fourth was pure. It wasn't the look of a guy that was trying. He was like, yeah, this is easy.
Dude, I wish we should go back to our top 10. We could make a top 10 of Jokic subliminal messages.
We also
That should be a top 5.
the other thing is this is always tongue in cheek because also Yoke's always just being honest, even though we read into everything all the
right.
time. He's also
Right.
both things are simultaneously true. Schrodinger's Jokic.
Do you have any vote? Any cool stories about Nikola Jokic?
It began.
You and him just hanging out, like, just shooting the shit?
with the forging of the great rings. That's Lord of the Rings. Fuck.
Yeah,
No,
that's Lord
I
of
don't
the
have
Rings.
anything. Sorry.
All right. Well, that was a good story.
Thanks.
That was good.
Thanks,
That was
man.
good.
I don't
like
know
that.
if that one had ever been out publicly. I just feel like the statute of limitations is gone. And again, it's
I'd
not
say
an
they're
on the
gone.
record story. This is not like a confirmed story, but it is I've heard it
it's-
from very reputable sources.
Perfect for an off-season podcast medium, brother. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's hit one more question before we get to another break here. This one comes from T. Sweezy. Power rank the guys we can least afford to lose to injury besides Nikola Jokic
Well, why
and
besides
Jamal
them? Let's
Murray.
just go Jokic, one,
Because
Murray,
they're
two.
they're the top two.
Yeah,
I
but
think
let's-
that's what he's saying.
Right, but let's just say Jokic 1, Murray 2,
Yeah.
and then you can go everybody else.
Jokic 1, Murray 2. 3 for me is Aaron Gordon. That's pretty clear.
So there's regular season and there's playoffs to this answer. Maybe they're the same, maybe they're different, but I think playoffs, unquestionably, he's number 3.
Regular season, do you think it's somebody different? Because I think for regular season, it's still Aaron Gordon for me.
I do think. Look,
But it's closer.
yeah, the defense is. I get it. Like, it's an essential, and he provides stuff that no one else on the roster does. I do think because the duo is so good, it's easy for us to overlook what happens if you don't have your 17-point per game scorer out there also.
Yeah.
It is easy to overlook that. Having said that, when you have Jokic and Murray, you can mitigate an offensive loss more than a defensive loss. I go with Aaron Gordon.
But I do think Porter is really close in the regular season, and in the play, and by this year, I think that there's a chance. I mean, here's the thing about Porter: he always shines in the defensive. Like, he's always part of Denver's best defensive lineups, and it's
Right.
not, and we never like credit him for it.
Right.
But I do think that in the regular season, especially, Denver's just a different defensive team when he's on the court by virtue of his size and length
Yeah.
and everything.
So AG, MPJ, and I
So
agree.
we'd say MPJ is 4.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I like Steve Wynn here, KCP at 5, Christian Brown at 6.
Yeah, I think that's right. Just because if KCP's out, I do think you actually mitigate it pretty well with Christian Brown right there.
In a playoff environment, how big of a separation is there between MPJ and KCP?
I think fairly big. I mean, KCP obviously gives you a perimeter lockdown guy, but if he was out, I just think Christian Brown also provides that. You lose your depth.
That's true.
You lose your depth. But to me, if you told me you don't have KCP for a game and you need somebody to guard the perimeter, I'm like, well, Christian Brown might be as good in some matchups, better in some matchups, slightly worse in others.
Yeah.
But he's a good defender, man, and I think he fits in. So for me, KCP's a great player. He's a perfect fit on this roster. I'm not trying to diminish it. It's just the one position Denver has another guy that's similar.
The fact that they have Christian Brown,
Right.
that in a pinch you could slide
And
into
I'll actually
that
just
role.
take it a bit further. Like, I love KCP. Porter is a better player.
Yeah.
You need Porter. But I not to get too.
Porter also makes the front court thing. I really do think that Gordon is great, Porter is great, and together they
Yeah.
are like a checkmate.
Totally.
Yeah.
But that's the best part about this starting lineup, man. It's not just like the king and the queen. You know, you got a lot. There's a lot of pieces on the board that need to be there.
Yeah. All right, let's hit another break. On the other side, we're going to talk about our former Nuggets that we would give a championship ring to. So
a
in the
great
chat,
question.
if you've got the former Nugget that you think deserves a championship ring the most, let us know. Put in the chat. We'll hit that question on the other side here.
You guys are two of the current podcasters that I'd love to share a Broncos country Breck brew with the most.
Wouldn't you?
I would love to.
Let's
do
ride.
it. Let's do it. Let's ride. Not if you're chewing gum though.
Why not? Not a Breck bro. I didn't.
Come on.
Yeah, come on. Don't blow my cover.
All right.
on
Anyway,
this.
football regular season is coming to a close. Oh well, it's coming to an open. Ain't nothing that a beer can't fix. Breck Brew has you covered with the hometown craft beer of the Denver Broncos. Broncos Country Pale Ale. Enjoy it for the start of Broncos season. It should be a very different Broncos season, and you're gonna want to enjoy that or wash the sorrow away with the delicious taste of a Broncos Country Pale Ale. Enjoy all the great Breck brews via the Breck Brew locator at their website, or, we got it all here on tap and in the fridge. At the corner of York and Colfax, it's the DNVR bar.
You guys want to hear about Backus and Schenker?
Oh, yes, please.
They're the Colorado law firm that wins for their clients. When you
love
get
that.
hurt, Backus and Schenker is here to help. Helping those who are seriously injured in Colorado for more than 25 years. Free until they win money in your case. No upfront fees to speak with them about your case. No fees while they work on your case, and no fees unless they win your case and win money for you. Backus and Schenker has won over $1 billion for their clients. I was trying to think of a foot like that's like they've won more than twice as much of a Jaylen Brown contract for their clients. They've won 2 Jaylen Browns for their clients over the years. Isn't that impressive?
And they're also winning more than
That's
Jaylen
so
Brown.
true.
So
They
it's
are
crazy.
They've won more than Cristiano Ronaldo's getting paid to play in Saudi Arabia.
for
That's
1 year.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Well, that is what's crazy. So, like, you don't pay Backus and Schenker unless they win for your case, but you do pay Jaylen Brown no matter what happens.
That's true.
Whether he goes left or not, you're paying him.
I know who I want on my
Yeah,
team.
so who are you going to pick?
Easy
It's an easy call. Now with even more locations, all serving Colorado. I did that for you, by the way.
Thank you.
Including neighborhood offices in Denver, Aurora, Inglewood, and Fort Collins. Backus and Schenker has the strength and power. Like he out of nowhere, like rubbing the genie's lamp, and he appears.
I don't even think the
he's
YouTube live caught up yet.
Backus and Schenker has the strength and power to win your case. More than 30 lawyers and 100 staff. And how do you get a hold of them? You just dial down the middle. 222-2222. Find out if you have a case. It's free to call. Backus and Schenker wins.
It's like the Celtics bat signal went off.
It just immediately.
All right, we're back here on the DNBA show. Mailbag Thursday. Let's get to our Bet365 Never
I love
Ordinary
this.
Top 5.
It's
Never
never
ordinary.
ordinary.
We are top 5ing. We are ranking
We
1
are
through
top
5.
5ing.
The former Nuggets that we would give a championship ring to.
Okay.
I like a lot of the suggestions in the comments. Monte Morris,
Yeah.
Gary Harris,
Right.
PJ Composure.
Yep.
I saw somebody throw out Chauncey Billups. I wasn't even thinking about
That's funny that we really go far
players
back.
from the
I don't think-
non-Jokic era.
Are we gonna?
I think we gotta go
Let's
Jokic era.
contain
We
the
gotta go
Jokic era
Jokic
because
era.
you're right. Now we're like Alex English gets one. and
I
we're
mean,
like, all
Dan
right.
Issel, like, got to give him one. Mr.
Mr.
Maybe
Nugget,
the
yeah.
original Mr. Nugget.
Yeah.
So, guys, top 5 players or potentially executives that we would give a
Well,
ring
let's
to.
just do it then, huh?
Right.
Who's number 1 on your guys' list?
I do think there is a fella who contributed quite a lot to this ring, wanted this ring to happen, even when possibly working for another team in the league. I'm going to go with Tim Connolly. I know he's much maligned on the way out, but I think we just got to remember.
Was he much maligned?
I don't know. I'm on the internet, dude.
Yeah, you're on
Jamal
the
Murray.
Most people don't know who Tim Conley
That's
is.
a great point. You know what? Yeah, I got to re-examine
People on the
everything.
internet where everyone's just mad all the time.
Oh, man. I got to... Anyway.
No, I'm on the internet. It's just a great excuse for everything.
Yeah. Is this opinion seem
Why are you
irrational?
having a shitty day today? I'm
right.
just
Yeah,
on
but
the internet, you know?
He built most of the starting lineup, and he drafted the Nuggets out of darkness. And yeah, did he get lucky with Jokic, as he would tell you? Sure. That's the name of the game, man. And they're the ones that drafted him. So shout out TC.
People don't know this the way we know, but Tim Conley is first team all vibes, and that's players, that's anything. He's first team all vibes. It's the one tragedy, in my opinion, or the biggest tragedy of this whole thing is that Tim Conley wasn't here for the parade, that he didn't get to kind of be on the parade. By the way, he thought Michael Malone was great at the parade. If Tim Conley was there, I kind of feel like he would have also. I don't know if he would have matched Malone because Malone was a little drunker than I think Tim would have been. But
Yeah.
I think he also would have had a few little lines or this or that.
I feel like the shirt could have come off.
the shirt might have come off.
The shirt might have been popped
Totally
off.
would have been a DNVR
The
shirt
night
too.
would have been long.
know.
I'll tell you that. The night would
Yeah.
have been
So
long.
Tim Conley to me is
Tim-
probably my number one.
Do
It
you
is
think
sad.
Tim would have gotten a tattoo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
100%.
100%. There's
That night.
that no
That night.
question he
Yeah.
would have gotten it.
Yeah.
He might have actually unveiled it on the floor of Game 5.
He might
I
have-
think that, I'm not kidding, and I think he would have had like Nuggets in 5 on it or something like that. Where he'd
He
have been
might have
like,
asked us to come film it. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
totally.
So
Tim, definitely. For me, this one was easy.
So Tim is number 1 on
yeah,
this list.
is he for you too? Is there a good?
He's
case?
number 1 for me.
Yeah, the fans will feel differently.
The
Some
original
fans, but-
architect, the guy who probably was maybe the first person to see the vision,
Yeah.
to see the Jokic vision, to believe in it. The patient approach,
Yeah.
putting 4 of the 5 starters together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
Probably
then
would've put
somebody
all
says
5.
maybe there wouldn't have been a parade if he was here. I mean, maybe. Honestly, like,
Calvin-
we don't know.
Calvin did an
did a
A+
great job,
job, yeah.
and he deserves a lot
But he
of
got
credit
his
for
ring and-
getting it. So,
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
but we can say that for any of the players we're putting on the list. Number 2.
Where do you go with this? I'm curious.
I think we're probably the same. I think that there's 3 options for me that are sort of next here. And
Are we in Mr. Nugget
we're
territory?
in Mr. Nugget territory. We're going with Gary and Monte, and then obviously Barton to me is the other guy that just kind of like I think he's the guy I think especially this wouldn't have happened if he was here. So
Yeah.
it's a little weird, but at the same time he was a soul. I'd go with Monte though.
I'm with you.
I think Monte a little bit more than Gary. Maybe it's just that he was here more recently.
Yeah, but all right. I think Monte embraced it all more too. And I
Yeah, you're
know
right.
Gary was a Mr. Nugget, but I do think that was a cult fandom anointing thing that I started, which was fun. But I think Monte actually embodied and maybe even possibly embraced the role in a conscious way. And
He didn't, but nobody's broken both of those guys like never publicly acknowledged it though to this
no,
day,
but I'm just saying,
which is a bummer.
I think Monte
maybe
Morris,
part of the allure of Mr. Nugget is you never acknowledge it.
Mr. Nugget never mentions Mr.
Yeah.
Nugget. I
I
love
think
it.
Monte is maybe number 1 in former Nuggets in the era we're talking about of guys who were about this,
Yeah.
wanted to be here,
Yeah.
loved it for the right reasons, felt connected to the city, and the fans loved him. I know Gary is the original, and chat wants Gary. I just think Monte was about it more at the end of the day.
I'll never forget when you did that video with Aaron Gordon and you told him he was getting named Mr. Nugget. And then it was like a week later or something, he got an award for best teammate.
Yeah.
Like by the NBA. It was like an NBA official award.
Yeah,
Mr.
that's right.
Nugget. It should have said
Best
Mr. Nugget
teammate.
on it.
And no, we were thinking like, did he think that was actually Mr. Nugget?
What if he got confused for like a second?
He's like, hold on,
He's like,
what?
oh, that's what Adam was talking
I
about.
should have taken that video a lot more seriously.
Can you imagine if, like, in winning that award, they have a little, like, the NBA.com is doing a video, and he's like, thanks for the Mr. Nugget award. And
I
they're
know.
like, what?
No, then he was like, I know Mr. Nugget's a big responsibility, but I'm happy to take it on.
Oh,
was
man. I can't
wondering
believe what an all-time Mr. Nugget AG is, though. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
unbelievable.
he's
I can't believe we ever questioned this. I can't believe it was
Dude,
ever
he's
a
gonna
thing.
be when Aaron Gordon is done. By the way, I was the first one to say he was Mr. Nugget too. He's gonna be on.
You know
one,
what? I'll give it to you.
That's right. Yeah,
I'll
listen,
give it to you. I'll give it to you.
I'm learning from
Earn
Andre
it.
Drummond. Get out of my face.
I do have to say, you,
drumming on the show.
Yeah.
Brendan Vogt, out of anybody on this panel, when we were discussing, the early Mr. Nugget primaries, he was on to Aaron Gordon
Thank you.
Yeah.
and backing Aaron Gordon
Thank
before
you.
any of us.
In exchange, I'll say this: Wind is right about everything. Okay, but I think number 3, as much as I just made the case against, I think 3 should be Gary Harris.
I think it is too. I
Yeah.
totally can see you flipping those. Gary was the first one in. Gary's the first one
He
in.
was the first one in. He
So
was
true.
the first one who learned how to play with Nikola Jokic. That was the original 2-man game.
Yeah.
So true, man.
There are 2 other guys I think are definitely 4 and 5. I don't know what order they would be though.
I'm with you. I think
I mean, so I'm guessing you're thinking Millsap and Barton.
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
Is there anybody else that could be on here?
So we can do honorable mentions at the end. I'm trying to think if there's people that, because I have some names that don't belong on here.
I mean, there are vibes
but that are
guys
honorable-
like
yeah.
Wancho,
Yeah, the
who I
Wancho.
think is honorable mention territory.
Right.
I know commenter Ted would love Mason Plumlee to get one, but we're probably not going to go there.
To me, Mason Plumlee exists in the perfect space.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? Like, he was here for a good time.
I mean,
with
to
you.
me, this was just a stop for Mason Plumlee in his career.
It's and to a lesser degree, like guys like Wilson Chandler, who I loved. It's like they were part of this, but not a part of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they were a part of the process,
Right.
but not
Oh,
this or that.
There's one from 555-ish who we got to meet at the bar. PJ Composure, I think, is in the
PJ Dozier,
conversation.
yeah, he's a good
In the
honorable mention.
conversation.
He's a good honorable
he's
mention.
high on the honorable mention
Yeah,
list.
he's definitely high. I was trying to think if there's any assistant coaches or anybody that kind of like along the way left, but I don't think
Jordy, did you?
Wes Unseld would be
Wes,
the guy
yeah.
I think that you would look at and say, he was here for a pretty good stint of this and
Yeah,
didn't
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
it.
that's a good
And
one.
then the other honorable mention for me would have been, and this is like for just personal, but Brett Barup, who is Stan Kroenke's right-hand man, who was here in the very early process and
Oh,
sort of
man.
instrumental.
Rest in peace.
Another guy who I just really liked and was sort of like the soul
Yeah.
of the organization, and obviously didn't finish out, so he'd be another guy.
Yeah.
Great call.
But for number 4, Will Barton or Paul Millsap, I'm going to go with Will Barton.
Will Barton.
Will Barton.
Will Barton.
Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will Barton. Will I mean, it's tough, man. They're both instrumental. I mean, Paul Millsap, like, I don't know if the Nuggets ever play defense if Paul Millsap didn't come here.
True,
they
man.
might still be 30th in defense.
So true.
And then Will Barton, instrumental in the early Jokic years, playing every role imaginable and playing it really well.
The longevity is there too, I think he played as much with Jokic as anyone.
I might put Barton at 4.
I think Barton for me is 4 as well.
I'm with you guys.
Here's the thing about Millsap. Again, he is almost closer to he's like the super Plumlee to me in that he was both essential for a time, but not. It was also essential for him to not be here. I guess Barton fits into that as well.
But didn't you feel like when Paul Millsap got here, the Nuggets grew up? Like, they became a serious team.
Yeah.
I feel like when Paul Millsap got here.
But some of that was probably just natural.
They did grow
he
up,
did
but
help. He
no,
deserved credit,
I
but-
think that's one of those I'm glad I covered the team for because
Yeah,
so many people hit
right.
me up like, what is that contract? And I'm
Right.
like, it's a good deal, man.
Right.
He's helping this
They
team.
need him.
So, I like, here's the one that's fun because he did get one. Darrell Arthur
Yeah, he did get one.
did get one. Real spiritual
Oh,
Mr.
yeah, he
Nugget
did.
energy,
Yeah.
for him. So I like that.
Manimal, no, he's in the Wilson Chandler category. Again, good. He was here for an interesting time, and that was great. Who else
Thought
we
he
have?
was still starting at power forward when Paul Millsap was on.
Mike Miller has a role in all of this. He was really Mike Miller is sneaky, the first Jokic truther. you
Yeah.
know, like,
Oh, yeah.
of all players. Dead last on my list, Richard Jefferson.
Yeah, works for me.
I think he's. I don't know if there's a single.
Well, we
maybe
could probably
Nurkic.
bring up the top 10 villains of the Nikola Jokic era.
You know what? Let's give one to Devin Harris and not Richard Jefferson. Just
I'll nominate another one here who was maybe even before Mike Miller in terms of Jokic believers. That was Jameer Nelson.
I love Jameer Nelson.
You think he was before Mike Miller?
Well, the story is at Jameer Nelson's not even training camp, mini camp in
Yeah,
Philadelphia,
in Philly.
Jokic's season, the front office was talking to Jameer and they were like, so who's the best player? And he's like, the Serbian kid.
Jameer
Didn't even know
Nelson
his name.
knows
And this
ball.
was before
Jameer Nelson does know ball.
actual formal
does.
training camp.
Yeah.
Chat's throwing Torrey Craig in there as an honorable mention.
He's a good honorable mention.
Yeah, he's
a good honorable mention. But
I like
but
our
no.
list, to be honest.
I will be honest though, him going to Phoenix has really changed Torrey Craig.
Yeah, because now he's just
the enemy,
a
man.
NBA journeyman,
He's an NBA journeyman, but specifically to a team we hate. So it's
Right.
like he's not ours. In fact, he's more of a Sun than he is a Nugget at this point.
Yeah.
Sad. Sad but true.
Well,
But
that's
sad.
our never ordinary Bet365 top
Yeah,
5.
this is never ordinary.
That was not ordinary at all.
That is a not ordinary top 5, I'll tell you that. Let's hit another break.
Oh, no.
Finish up with some more mailbag questions. A Zeke Nnaji question I see here.
Okay.
What Serbian player other than Jokic would you like to see on the Nuggets?
Oh,
I see
know
that
my
one
answer.
here.
I know my answer.
We'll get to all that on the other side.
Milutinov.
Oh, yeah. Broken T is
Yaramash.
Broken T is the coolest
Can't
golf
even
course.
get on the World Cup roster.
Broken T is the coolest golf course. It has the best vibes. That's a pretty cool thing. It lines up directly with the DNVR kind of initiative.
How did you
know what I
get
mean?
this one?
Is it not?
No, you got it, but you're right.
Okay, cool.
You're gonna do the golf one, and I'm gonna do the kind.
I know.
of
You
it.
want to switch?
No, go for it. You're already into it.
All right. Well, it's an award-winning practice facility, 27 total holes, 18-hole championship course. It's a challenging par 3 course, and it comes with all the stuff you want your vibey golf courses to
The
come
term
with.
award-winning practice facility is just so foreign to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know what that
What does
looks
it
like.
mean?
No leaks
that's
in the
weird.
roof. Or
Yeah.
Stocked pro shop full of sick gear, wall-to-wall drip. Whether you're looking to upgrade your equipment to look better or just feel more comfortable on the course, they got you covered. And a great restaurant in Wyatt's at Broken T as well. There's a charity tournament coming up on Friday, September 22nd. Prizes supporting Bridge House, Tri-Cities Homeless Action Team's effort to open a navigation center that will provide a facility for community members struggling with homelessness to receive temporary shelter. That's a great cause. If you're into golf, get yourself at the great course that is Broken T. Go to brokentgolf.com to make tee times and get the latest updates. Use code DNVR10 for 10% off any round on their regulation course.
I'm telling you, I've been playing golf a lot lately, all summer, man. I gotten pretty good. I'm pretty good.
What's
now.
your handicap at?
Maybe
I'm not-
you're bad at lists, Walter.
I'm
Sorry.
not ready to do that yet.
Okay.
I'm not ready to do
That's
that yet.
fine.
But I am like hitting it everywhere I want to all now.
Oh, I love that.
And I even do that without the help of Kind Love. This is just my regular method.
That's
If
just your-
I was on the Kind Love path, I might be Tiger Tiger Woods out
That's
there.
how I feel.
Kind Love is excited to be the official partner of DNVR and support another local brand. This is a very local Colorado brand. We met the owner, one of the most passionate business owners you ever met. You think you have like a perception of somebody that owns a dispensary? What are they like? Maybe, this, that. This guy, so passionate about the
Locked in.
engineering, so passionate about the science, so passionate about the health, everything about what they offer at Kind Love. Just an incredibly passionate business owner. We love the Kind Love cannabis and always get a consistent, great experience when we're high on Kind Love. Quality, integrity, consistency, variety, and safety. That's what they're all about. They've also got that Turbo Core. If you guys don't know what it is, it comes in a little pouch
I
thing.
know what it is.
And it's like a toothpick. You poke that into your joint, smoke that thing directly there. It goes right away. Unbelievable. 100 milligram stick that looks exactly like a toothpick. Full spectrum cannabis concentrate designed with a pointed tip so you can easily splice it right into the joint. Visit one of the stores they got in Cherry Creek or North Denver. If you mention DNVR, you receive the DNVR exclusive discount, 25% off.
That's an insane discount. I have shopped around, and I'm telling you that 25%, that's more than most neighborhood discounts. This is your new neighborhood dispensary. Find them, get in there. The product's great. The deal's better.
You can also order online at the website kindlove.com. Use that code DNVR for online ordering, and you can see their full extensive menu.
There you go. All right, back here on the DNBA show. Mailbag question time. Let's rapid fire through these last ones here.
You guys don't want to go like another hour? I'm chilling, man.
I'm chilling. We're having a good show.
We're having a great show.
So we haven't talked about this guy like it all this summer. Zeke Nnaji. Tommy Wadera asked, do you see Zeke Nnaji having a coming out season, or is this his final rodeo in Denver?
I think it's one of the two. I'll say
So
this.
does Tommy.
Yeah. I'll say this. I think I'm buying Zeke Nnaji stock this year. I think one of the hardest things to do in professional sports is be on the bubble. And I think this is the first year he's not on the bubble. He's on the bubble for next year and this or that. But there's not a better option behind him. They kind of have to play him. And I just think that Zeke Nnaji, we talk about him getting hurt a lot. I think some of that is being in and being out. But I even think consistency, man, it's just hard when somebody's looking over your shoulder. I mean, Vogt, imagine if you have one bad show and I sub you out for Kale. And every show you'd be so nervous. It'd be like, oh my God, are they going to do this to me right now?
That's true.
I think that Zeke Nnaji, he goes out there like, if I screw up this screen, I'm going to...
Strong agree.
Whatever. So I think that this year he settles in and he has a good year. I don't think he's going to be a star, but I think he settles in and is a consistently good player.
I think he doesn't have a chance without a consistent role, right? If the Nuggets go, here's what we think is your role this year, if everything goes to plan, and here's what we think we need from you. That is, I think, something he can do. I think Zeke has a chance to be a rotation player in the modern NBA. He's switchable. He can shoot. He's big. These things are the tools. They matter. But we've talked a lot about, even Michael Porter Jr. in his early years, when you don't know what to expect, it's really, really tough.
Yeah.
And so I do think... hopefully that's what's different for Zeke this year, that along with health.
Yeah, I think I'm buying it too, just because he's never had this clear a path to an important rotation spot. And I think that's going to be good for
I also think he's good.
just settling him into it.
Don't you think he's actually good, though? Like
I think he's always been good, yeah.
He can play really good, like elite level perimeter defense.
He is
switchable.
good.
He hustles. He has a good motor.
There are worse rotation players in the league,
That's what
man.
I'm saying. I just don't. Again, I'm not high on him as this like all-time talent. I just think that he can be a guy like. All right, here it goes. I think he could be better than Jeff Green was last year.
Okay.
I agree.
I'm with it.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Our
got an
guy,
upgrade.
Mr.
We got an
Williams. 2.
S2.
What would be a bad season for the Nuggets this year? Are we full in on championship or bust mode?
an
I
interesting
think
one.
that's pretty clear. I mean, yes, it is championship or bust. A bad season would probably be like taking out injuries aside and everything.
Second round out. I think you got to make the conference finals for me.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say not winning the West would be a bad season.
I mean, they're entitled or bust. Like as we're at the point right now where the finish line is in sight. It's far in the distance. You have to look through a telescope. Knock on wood. You have to look in a telescope. But we're at the point now where it's like every year is an opportunity. I think this Nuggets group, if everything went right, could win 5 or 6 titles.
Sure.
But that only means that if they don't win one now, I'll be like, I think they can win 4 or 5 titles. And every year that goes, that number just shrinks, right?
Right.
Because the window only has so many years. So now I do think it is sort of title or bust. So success to now only means that, but I don't necessarily think it means failure if you don't do it. So success means that.
Sure.
Failure to me would probably mean
You'd have to just know it when you see it.
Yeah.
for that.
I think
second round exit though to me would be like, come on, like
I was thinking
Right.
about this though through the lens of what our guest Swipacam was talking about yesterday, viewing Jokic as one of the inevitable guys and a Jordan and a LeBron and
Right.
not just one of the greats. And I think if that's the case, which by the way, I
think it's the case.
kind of do, like it's a hot take that I'm not. It's not that hot, and
It's not a hot take at all, man.
and if that's the case, you look at the lay of the league this year. I think it's fair to have those expectations. Like I think the Nuggets and Jokic are so much better than everyone. I expect them to win a title. Like if this was Michael Jordan looking at a league where there was no clear fit, same with LeBron, right? There's no clear favorite. You go, I'm going with that team.
Right.
I feel that way about Jokic right now. I would be a little disappointed if they don't, because I think they have the opportunity to do so.
Look, man, if we're not talking about injuries here and they lose in the second round with this starting five, that's a massive disappointment.
Right.
If they lose, I think even in the conference finals, like that would definitely be a disappointment. Like this team is stacked. Nuggets are stacked.
Yeah. Go win the West. You're the best team in the West with the best player in the league.
This one comes from Mudri Oblak. What Serbian player other than Jokic would you like to see on the Nuggets? He throws out Bogi, Poku, Jovic, Filip Petrusev getting some love. He's had a couple nice games for Team Serbia. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm still locked in on the old roster that did not play as well.
I know that 2023
yeah.
Eurobasket roster or 2022 Eurobasket roster always going to hold a special place in our heart.
I kind of think Kalinic would be an awesome Nugget. So
Lucic?
We all Lucic, Kalinic,
Yeah.
and
They didn't-
Marinkovic. We
also,
love all
those
these guys.
no showed the elimination game, and I'm like, give me them.
Yeah,
give me
get
them.
the F out of here, Faki.
yeah.
No, for me, I mean, I've told you guys I love Bogdan Bogdanovic. I was surprised when you guys were so low on like we don't need him, and I get the thought process there. Denver doesn't need him. There's a lot of guys that can fill that role, in my opinion. But to me, Bogdan would be just such a good Jokic player. I think the ball would pop so well with him on the roster to where he's like I think he's a top tier Bruce Brown, right? I think Bruce Brown is an S tier Bruce Brown, like he was one among the best. But when we talk about who can fill in that role of like sixth man, to me he would be a really fun one.
He's not a good defender, though.
It's a different type, but I think Denver,
Okay.
there's a lot of different. So maybe Christian Brown is the defender and he's good there, but then Bogdan's the offensive version of Bruce Brown, where he creates the secondary unstoppable Jokic lineup.
I'd also just be fun to get any Serbian connection.
It
in
would
there.
be.
It would just
really
one,
would
you
be.
know.
I mean, I think Bogdanovic is definitely like the best
yeah.
Serbian guy you could add for
Yeah.
sure. I'm telling you who I kind of like though. I like Nikola Jovic.
Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, he's the guy. He's the guy.
I am really
he's good.
intrigued by Jovic,
No, he's good.
man. And he's also kind of a
This is
player
it.
the Nuggets don't have
Yep.
because he's Aaron Gordon, but he's like the small forward version of Aaron Gordon, kind of.
He's Porter and Gordon combined.
He kind of is.
He's Porter-sized Gordon.
6'9", 6'10" slasher.
I think he's taller than that though.
He's big.
I think
He's
no.
tall. He's got a big frame on him. He's athletic.
Isn't the rumor that he's 7 feet? Because he grew. That's why he didn't play last year. He had back issues because he was growing.
His growth plates
I'm
were
not
all
kidding.
fucked
He was
up.
because he's young and stuff. And I think they're saying he's like 6'11",
he
7
graduated
feet.
high school last year.
Yeah, he was the youngest player, right? I
Right.
think it was. So I think he's like 6'11", 7
Yeah.
feet now.
I'm telling you, I'm
He's good.
buying Nikola Jovic, man.
Me too.
I am very, very intrigued by him, and he's a unique player and definitely not a molded player the Nuggets have.
I'm with
Love
it.
it.
I think that's the
Cool.
right answer. But I do love Bogdanovic. It's my guy.
Yeah. Do we have time for one more, Kale? Where are we at here?
Sure, we can go long.
Okay, let's
Are we
finish
long?
this one up. Broncos and Avs beats both added former players to their pods. What former
Oh, that
Nugget
sounds
would
fun.
you most want to add to the show? If you guys missed it, we've got not just Todd Davis, but Pat
Super Bowl.
Surtain.
Are you talking about Super Bowl Broncos Super Bowl winning
That is who I'm talking
linebacker Tom
about.
Davis?
The Super Bowl winning Tom Davis.
Or Todd Davis?
Todd Davis.
So he's on the Bronco show as a host.
every single day.
Every single day.
Monday
Wow.
through Friday. And
He's awesome, by the way. Todd Davis is freaking awesome.
on the pre and post game shows during
But
Broncos
the reason
games.
you might be confused is that there's also Patrick Surtain.
Oh, that's it.
doing a
That's
show.
it. That's
Surtain
also. You're talking
also-
about
That's why
the
you're
first team
on the
All-Pro?
Broncos.
Yeah,
The first
guy
team All-Pro?
currently. Yep,
He was
yep.
here in
Maybe
studio on the
best
show
in
every other
league.
week.
Yeah.
Wow, man,
Yeah.
we are leveling up
And we've
over
also
here.
got Eric Lacroix.
Yeah, Lacroix,
the
there it
Avs
goes.
show.
Yeah, Pierre Lacroix's son.
Eric
you know
Lacroix.
the architect of the first Avs era. Really, the architect. And then obviously a former player. You know who one of his best friends is? Eric Lacroix.
I don't know, like a good hockey player.
Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, cool.
Wayne Gretzky. His
The chosen one.
Yeah,
Hang on, I
chosen
gotta
one.
go-
The
I'm gonna
great
Google.
one.
By the way,
Google.
certainly going to be hopping on the DNVR Avalanche pod right now. So we're being serious here in that this has been an incredible month for DNVR. We've leveled up an entire whole new level right now, and we have incredible guests. So it's a good question. Who would we bring on to be a Nuggets rep?
Former Nugget.
Former Nugget. Or it could be current. I mean, Pat Surtain, you know, current Nugget.
I mean, I have an answer.
Let me hear it.
Allen Iverson.
That's the best answer.
I feel like that's the answer.
better than that. You're right.
Is there even a number two?
No. Can you imagine Allen Iverson talking to us every week about Jamal Murray? And oh my God.
The craziest thing is I can.
I can too,
actually
actually.
can. I can.
This is like the Pineapple Express. I think he would like us.
I think he would
wants
like
to hang out with
us.
us, man.
Yeah. Except I kind of believe it.
I think Allen Iverson just loves everyone.
That's what I mean. He loves ball. I want Monte Morris, even though he's on another team. I want him currently.
No, this isn't top five. Do you give a championship ring to?
No, I want.
Yeah, we're on a new segment. Oh, you're doing this. Okay,
No, I
you're
want
on
Monte
new
Morris,
segment.
the Detroit
Extraordinary.
Piston, as a weekly correspondent on this show.
Technically, Wancho's out the league, so we could have him
That
call
is
in.
true,
It'd be
actually.
fun.
You would just ask Wancho a question. He'd ramble. You'd be like, I don't know what you said, but it was great.
Yeah.
In all
Oh,
sincerity,
PJ Dozier.
PJ Dozier would be dope. Checking in from Serbia. Can
Oh
we get
my
this to happen? Tell us a
God.
little bit about Partisan. I think Mike Miller is probably my answer here. I mean,
good
Allen Iverson's
answer.
a better answer, but if realistic answers, Mike Miller. That guy was so smart, has so many weird, wild
You see that
experiences.
comment?
What did we get?
Imagine Jokic on the show comparing himself to Adam.
Hell yeah! You know it would happen too. You know it would.
Right away.
You know it would. But no, Mike Miller, I think would be really dope to
That's a
have
good
on.
one.
Yeah.
He's an agent now, though. I don't think he's gonna do media like that.
Yeah.
He can't. He's got to be like nice to every. He's got to like hype up his
Right.
guys.
He's got to play the game now. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Great mailbag edition of the show here.
Great show.
On Thursday. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for watching. Thanks for chatting. Tomorrow, we'll be back. Friday, 12 o'clock, we'll be here.
We're gonna snake draft something.
Oh, Snake
Oh,
Draft
let's
Friday.
go.
I cannot wait. We'll talk to you guys then.